Her? No, that was her sister.
Huh?
Right.
That's a link.
I lost about 200 pounds.
No, I think
First
it's
class, right?
You know everybody's name?
just melt.
I know Diana.
How does that? How do you think that tunnel even formed?
Giancarlo?
Look at that tunnel. Look at that tunnel. How do you think that thing formed?
Just white.
That is a weird formation.
That's the pastor
It's
of
all
Vietnam.
snow.
It looks like it's all ice and snow. Pretty light.
Gail?
Yeah.
That's Antonio.
Okay.
And you
It's hard, I don't even know.
Amanda.
Amanda.
Nice to meet you too. You met me last time.
Yes.
Yeah, Amanda and who's it? Not Jake.
Jesse.
Jesse.
Yeah.
I want to say Jake.
Yeah. He wanted to come, but next time we'll be here.
He likes us, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. He
Yeah.
wanted to come this time too.
No, we do. We do good studies. We do good studies. We have, and that's, you've never been here on a Sunday yet. But
No. We'll be here this
it's a
Sunday.
little different. Oh, good.
What about the other? She didn't come too?
Maybe.
Well, at least.
No, I don't know. But here, there's a seat right here.
Huh?
There's a seat right over here.
On Sunday.
Or there's one there.
In case, be ready.
You know where you want to sit yet?
So
Yeah.
that's why I
Well, right now,
asked
you know.
Sunday.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know.
Your stuff is
Over there,
still
yeah.
in there. Your see, whole punch it's not stapler. Your
Stapler.
papers.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
What did you say?
Did you grab a
My
handle?
stapler stuff.
You like the table? Maybe you walk in.
Sound pretty cool.
Get it yourself. Did you grab
That's like my wife told me. Like, Kyle, that's that time she's trying to be nice to me. She's like, you want some ice cream? I said, yeah. She goes, all right, go get it yourself.
You want
All right, go get it yourself.
One time, I said that one time. Out of 17 years.
I know, I keep bringing it up. No, it's just funny though.
Whoa, you like all excited? Like yeah.
No, like, why would you tell someone if you want something and then you're like, like she's trying to be like really nice or something, she don't feel like it.
Where's the rest of it?
I can't wait to use this. I will use this if you're listening live stream. We're gonna use this Sunday.
There's no school tomorrow.
Are you sure?
I'm really at Warren Consolidated. If you're watching and you go to Warren Consolidated schools, no school.
I got the text. The
You got
mom
the
and Amy
text,
text. No school.
Oh, already? You know.
I wonder if you guys have school. Oh, that'd be nice if you did. Who wants to go to Midland? Who wants to
Kids
go?
wanted to know when they're going home. I said tomorrow.
Cool.
324 on
Oh,
the 24 on the Huh?
24 on the sheet?
Yeah.
Alright. And I'll take a break for a second. You're sitting.
Are you gonna do requests now?
I'll sing it. Da-da-da-da.
Put it on first.
Huh? Oh, that's the dumb way to do it.
Right, it's upside down.
Did it get enough now? So?
Hang on, Roger.
No, I'll just go outside. Every single string, exact same amount of flat. That's what that means. It's cool. And the thing shrinks. If the object shrinks, then the strings are looser. So if I gotta go sharpen it over. All right, let's do some songs. What was the first one you had there?
24 on the sheet.
All right, if you want to pick a song, look in the book or look on the sheet. The first one we have today. Oh, I need the other one. Where's the song book? Hey, where's the guitar book? Is that right there? All right, song 24. Everybody, start with that.
Roger, do you have all? Does she have any?
Which one?
Does she have the stuff?
That's from the sheet.
Oh, you getting it? You getting it?
Oh, the Christ alone.
Well, thanks for passing that around. Usually we pass it around. We left it there.
Maybe I love it. We were being lazy.
See? Hey, yeah. Yeah. Everybody's got gifts. The one's the gift of service. Show how to do it. And then when you use your gift, you feel like satisfied. That's the lesson right there. All right, we're going to do it Christ alone. Christ alone. In D. All right, in Christ alone, my hope is found. Psalm 24. Thanks for passing them out. Here we go. Ready? In Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. His cornerstone, his solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are still, when striving cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe, this gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones he came to save. Till on that cross, as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live. All right, what else?
Fullness of
You pick. You pick. The fullness guy, yeah. Which one? That's okay, because we're not doing anything.
fullness of God.
Oh, is that one? Yeah, I know. It's the fullness of God.
Help us.
Well, the fullness of God is what? 20 on the sheet? 20 on the sheet, everyone. 20 on the sheet.
Washed in the blood. Washed in the blood.
Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Yep. You're not ready? And you came to Jesus for the cleansing power. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you fully trusting in His grace and power? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed in the blood, in the soul cleansing blood of the Lamb? Are your garments spotless, are they white as snow? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Is there another one there?
There's another one. It says
What is it?
if it's highlighted, it's
No,
on.
there's nothing highlighted. Are you walking daily? Ready? Are you walking daily by the Savior's side? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Do you rest each moment in the crucified? Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? Are you washed Good song. What else? You pick. 25, someone said, on the plastic.
Then pick.
25. That's Jesus. Jesus, thank you. Jesus, thank you. It's an E minor. It starts on E minor.
It is 25.
23.
Oh, you said 25?
25.
Oh, sorry, 25. 25. We fall down. D. Here we go. Ready? We fall down before the Lord. This is about the lesson today. We fall down. We lay our crown at the feet of Jesus. Greatness of His mercy and love at the feet of Jesus. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy. We cry, holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. Juliana. 5 on the plastic. 5 on the sheet. I will glory in my Redeemer. E. Sing it out. Number 5. Ready? I will glory in my Redeemer, whose priceless blood has ransomed me. Mine was the sin that drove the bitterness, and hung Him on that judgment tree. And I will glory in my Redeemer, who crushed the power of sin and death. My only Savior before the holy church, the Lamb who is my righteousness, the Lamb who is my righteousness. 90. Which one is it? Huh? It came upon a midnight clear. It came upon a midnight clear. Gee, there
We
we
can't sing it. It's 'cause you
Let's try it out. Let's try it out. It came, ready? Sing it out. It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of the angels bending near the earth to touch His arms alone. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven gracious things. The world in silence will this day to hear the angels sing. Until the 6th, according to some European people. That's when. Until the 6th. Good some miss out there. All right, we got time for a few more songs. Who else wants to pick a song? You guys, anyone can pick one. John Carlo, what do you got? Which one? The Doxology came to inside cover. Inside cover of your book. Let's praise God. Ready? Praise God from whom our blessings flow. Praise Him, the nations and praise Him, all praise Father, Son, and Holy 106? What? You know, tell me the story of Jesus? I know in Spanish. C. Time for two more songs. Two more songs. Add
32.
So we got a hand raised. What did you say, Juliana?
I said 70 very quietly, so you can hear me.
70 very quietly. 70, all right. 70, what song is it? 70? What song is 70? I don't know.
Mystery.
Holy, holy, holy. C. Sing it out, ready? Unless someone else has a pressing one. 32 in the book or on the...
Yeah.
This thing? Sheet. Big sheet. 32. Could be 32 in the book. No, sheet. Before the throne of God above. That's song 32. On your shirt. Starts out on your shirt. On your sheet. It'd be nice if it was on your shirt. Before the throne of God. Before the throne of God above. And see. There you go, ready? Before the throne of God above, I have a strong and perfect King, the great high priest whose name is love, whoever lives and pleads for me. My name is graven on his hand. My name is on his heart. I know that while in heaven he stands, no tongue can bid me whence he part. No tongue can bid me whence he part. When Satan tempts me to despair and tells me of the guilt within, upward I look and see him there, who made an end to all my sin. Because the sinless Savior died, my sinful soul is counted free, for God the just is satisfied to look on him and pardon me. Great song. All right, what do you have there?
Do you know 3:16?
Hey, you
All right. You, and then 316, and then we're done. Yes, go ahead.
It depends if you know it.
What is it? Say it. No. Roger, Mr. Roger. Mr. Roger's like a computer.
I think you know it.
Okay, what do you got, Jack Carl? We'll make yours a little. Okay, which number is that? Sign it just Maybe your cousin will walk. That's his favorite song. Maybe your cousin will walk over singing it.
And with this one, last one.
It's G. Shine, G to shine. Let's sing it out. For the light of your love is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us, set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me, shine on me, shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Lay, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow, like the nations, with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. I predicted. We were singing it and he walked in. See? Shine, Jesus, shine.
Alright.
All right, everybody, you can go home now. No. What'd you say? No, what song is it? Which one is it? Which one?
316.
What is it?
Oh, to be like the you.
All right, Mr. Roger, can you play "Oh to Be Like Thee"?
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to play it. Juliana, come sing it for us. Come here. No?
I haven't singing it in a year. I learned it last year.
She can sing it. All right. Let's take some prayer requests. All right, let's take some prayer requests today. Surprise lady. Do you kids want to stay for the prayer requests? It's up to you, kid and lady. Alright, if you don't have a sheet, you can get one there. Or maybe Diana, you can pass it around if somebody wants a prayer request sheet. But, you know what? I don't usually announce things on Thursday night, but I'm going to tell, there's hardly not many people here, but I'll tell you that this church building is used for a lot of things. So, if you're the last one to leave, which most of you aren't, every door's got to be closed. Every door, even these, because of the fire rules, the fire code. And then also, they're going to start having some tight security on the building. Because the country, the times we live in, there are some bad people out there. And so we're going to lock the door. So if you come late and the door is locked, just call one of us, and there's a number on the door. She puts a number on the door. You just call the number, and we let you in. Was the door unlocked? Sarah, are there people still down there, or is there no one there?
You can text the number. There's people normally.
Oh, okay. Let's see. We don't care. If they're doing that, we don't care. See, something like that, we don't care, because they're doing it. Well, we're the only ones in here. We got to lock it. So anyway, you can pray for that, too, because, you know, it's so terrible situation at times. But anyway,
What would we pray?
let's pray that people don't do that. Like shootings. But anyway, let's narrow it down here. We have some room for some requests if you'd like to add some. They're pretty obvious, the ones on there. Anyone add any prayer requests? Yes.
Pray for a friend of mine who's going to go to the dentist to get all the roots pulled out of all the teeth,
All of them.
top and bottom. Yeah.
You want to put them down here, the name, or just want to remember the prayer?
Her name is Amanda.
Amanda.
So all of her teeth are getting pulled. Alright.
Probably like in the next couple of days, either tomorrow or the next day.
Alright.
Said everything will go good.
Alright.
You mean all of her teeth are getting pulled, or just the roots?
Top and bottom.
Yeah, sometimes people do that.
No, just top. I already did the bottom.
Oh, wow. It's you.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to say it. I was like, well, her name's Amanda. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You know, pray for the people. There's a lot of, you know, weather conditions right now and driving. We're driving very far tomorrow at the school, like to Midland.
Oh, yeah, it's very far.
So that's very far.
4 hours,
Everyone says
right?
it's not
4 hours.
Well, there and back's 4 hours, 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was 4 hours there.
No, there and back's 4 hours. Not 2 hours. It's just past Saginaw. I used to live in Saginaw.
No school tomorrow. No way.
Okay. Okay, Paulina is on your sheet there, or on the work. See right here, Paulina. You guys are pray for her. She's her husband died, and she's had a stroke at the same time. So let's pray for her. We don't have an update on the Kraft family, their health, because Cindy is sick. We pray for Cindy. She's sick. Yeah, Cindy's sick. Who else said they? Oh no, it was someone else said they weren't going to come, not because they're sick. Peter Sunday. Anything else you want to add here? We'll move on. Yeah, see? See? Florida didn't help her. We're tough here. Can you imagine how tough we are? This weather? No, that's not that bad. I checked it out. It's like 60, 70. At night, though, not during the day.
No, in Florida, it's so
right
cold
now
that
it's
their
40 degrees
that
during the day.
their homeless shelters are even being like packed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're scared they're going to freeze in 40-degree
So
weather.
it's just cold everywhere.
Yes, no one through there.
Northern, maybe northern Florida.
Probably, yeah.
Well, okay. Roger has to admit that he's glad he's not. I know. You got to be glad about not getting that bus tomorrow morning a little bit.
What?
You got to be a little happy about not getting up in the morning and going to that bus tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but the work part of it.
I know the pay part, but
But financially, I need that.
financially not happy. But are you guys are done too? Or you don't know?
We do.
You don't have no school in Grosse Pointe?
It's a double negative.
You don't have no school after.
It's been canceled.
Clearly they need
All
school.
schools.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Grosse Pointe doesn't have buses. Roger, Grosse Pointe doesn't have buses. You guys have buses?
I think it builds character.
Your school's my school's canceled.
Why are they canceling school with no buses like Faith Christian? Grosse
It
Pointe.
builds character.
Yeah, builds character. Spilkins from the Marine here.
I never got a snow day.
It's going to be 25 below.
You know why?
No, it's bad tomorrow.
Because-
It's bad.
No, because
It
they
is.
said, well, they didn't
That's
have
why
anywhere to
people
walk. There's no buses.
Oh,
It takes no time to get into the school, so they're never going to cancel. That's what their problem is. They never cancel. I didn't have much notice.
Yeah, they just don't go wait for the bus, so they don't
They're
care.
like, well, you just have to walk in and you just drive here.
It's kind of true, though. It's kind of true. You just gotta. All right. Any other question you want to add? Kevin is? Pastor Kevin, missionary Kevin Taylor's going to Mexico. Yeah, pray for our missionary, Kevin Taylor. Yes, you have one here. You want something to pray for or something over here? Did you raise his hand? Did you raise his hand?
Oh, we're trying to get gum.
Oh. We're praying that you get gum. Right? All right.
I got another.
Yes.
We'll pray that Juliana plays her violin this summer.
Antonio sings
And Antonio sings. Juliana plays. I know.
He's been hiding that voice.
I know.
Sophia.
He's the bass man.
She stole her violin.
He's got the. Come up here. How long has it been since it's all with the Lord?
Both of us play.
Pray for Kyle's shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Instead of pray get new shoes.
Alright.
All right, kids can go. Kids can go. Oh no, there's more kids than adults tonight. Maybe. Probably.
Well, I count for two. So.
Yeah. You guys are kids. Go.
Civilian and Marine.
Oh, okay. Okay, stay with it.
What's the saying, Marine?
Want some ring always ring?
You want to hear me?
Okay, that's just, I didn't know where you were going.
Well, Revelation 5.
Yeah, once more, always ring. Revelation 5.
Want me to walk you there?
Yeah.
Is that big Revelation? So I need to make sure.
I got a treat for you today. So we're gonna really have some pictures. We got some interactive stuff today. Okay. So Revelation 5. Okay. This chapter, Revelation 5, is designed to show us how much we ought to respect the only one who has the power to reveal to us future events. The whole 14 verses are, okay? Many people have tried to predict the future. Okay? Movies have been made about it, like Back to the Future. You're a little young, you remember Back to the
I watched.
Did you have Michael J. Fox? Okay, so
Still waiting on my Nikes.
they go, the first one, they go back to 1955, from 85 to 55. The second one, they go to the future, to 2015, really? And we're in 2018 now. And our cars are not flying.
No.
And
They were wrong.
They don't have hoverboards. They don't have those nice
We don't-
Nikes that
we
tie
don't-
themselves.
Yeah, we don't have the pizza you put in the microwave and it's this big, and you pull it out and it's this big. So, they have failed. Steven Spielberg and Beck have failed at predicting the future. Okay, people have loved to predict the future. TV shows like Doctor Who, isn't that a time travel show? I think I watched like once. His kids in my class used to, when I was teaching, they used to like to watch Doctor Who.
What was that feature made?
What's that?
The 80s.
85.
Yeah, like in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s. And so they thought, there was articles I read about people predicting what would be obsolete in 20 years, and I read it from the year 2000, so we're in 2018. And some of the things they said were like, cars will no longer use gas, they'll be plugged in.
I mean, some of it's kind of.
Uh,
But it's not.
Yeah, not really. I'd say over 90% of cars are still gas, and it's almost 20 years after that. They tried to predict that no one would hold their cell phone to their head anymore. It would all be devices. Well, that turned out to be wrong. I see people do it all the time. There's stuff like that. So they can't even predict things that are, trivial, or, there are doctors that diagnose people with 6 months to live. You ever hear the old joke? The doctor gave someone 6 months to live and he couldn't pay his bill, so he gave him 6 more months to live. You can't, and I see it all the time on hospice. You can't predict how long even someone's going to live, even if you're a doctor. To long to predict the future. Gamblers, people who gamble, would long to know the future so they can win. That's part of this Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
The Sports Almanac. Remember how much that was? If you watched that movie, the Sports Almanac for the future. Boy, that would be worthwhile if you can predict all that. When I was in Bible college, many kids would wonder if a certain someone was meant to be their partner for life. If they could just go in the future and see. You wouldn't have to waste all this time. Now, let's land this thought, okay, with the scripture here. To sum this subject, to sum it up and make it simple, the Bible teaches that some of the future is set in stone, but not all. And that's just how the Bible teaches. You'll read in the Bible where God says, here's two choices. Choose this one or that one. Well, that's not set in stone until they decide. But then there's other times where it's like, this is going to happen. So we as Bible believers, we have to say, okay, they're both there. There's this will happen in the Bible, and then there's this might happen or could happen depending on if these people want to listen or not. And so they're both there. How they both work together is not the easiest to explain. Okay? This is a good way to explain it, to make it simple. Okay? God's plan for the ages to redeem mankind and to judge the world will not change. God has a plan to judge, to punish, to redeem. Those are not going to change. And yet God has obviously given some free will to humans. We teach free will. I don't mean everything's free. I can't go like this and start flying. Everything's not free. I understand there's things that are locked and you can't decide, and God hardens people's hearts and things like that. I understand all that.
But there is some free will for humans to decide things that would affect their own destiny, but it will not affect the destiny of the future of the entire world. That's what we read in Revelation 5. It doesn't matter what anyone gets together and decides to do. Jesus will come again. These events will happen. Okay, now, different things may happen in those people's lives who turn to God that don't, right? I mean, if I drive 130 miles an hour, I got more of a chance of dying than if I drive the speed limit. I may not die, unless you're in the Autobahn or Autobahns in Germany. You know, I may not die, but I have more of a chance because I drove fast. I mean, that's not what we're talking about in Revelation 5. Revelation 5, we're talking about things that are just going to happen no matter what. It's not like if you think this or not. This will happen. And it's interesting what happens. Let's get into this. Okay, now, verse 1. I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. This book, or in ancient times, a scroll, like a big scroll you unravel, okay? And it says from the right hand of him that sat on the throne. That's from the last chapter. Chapter 4, we described the throne. As a matter of fact, we have some great pictures here. You look at this here on the screen. That's the... Remember this last week? So we talked about the throne, and he has in his right hand, which would be this hand, he has this scroll that we read about in this chapter here. And it's a book written within, it says the verse there, and on the back side, it's written on the back side. Now, if you study this out, you realize that in the old times, and you don't have to study out, just think logically, it was not customary to write on the back side. Because if you're opening a scroll and it's rolled, and you open it up, you know, you're not going to turn it around. You just for convenience sake, it was not customary. But this scroll has writing on the back side of it, and it is sealed with 7 seals. The writing on the back side was only when they ran out of room, or ran out of paper, and they had a lot to say. So the imagery here is there is a lot to say in this scroll that we see here. Okay? And it's sealed with 7 seals. The idea of the seal with 7 seals is each seal opens up one section. This one breaks, opens the next one, next one, next one, next one. And see how it's written on both sides. You can see on the back side. So this is what John saw from his point of view in Revelation 5 here. The 7 seals, or we call them, Old English seals, like locks. They're locked. Okay. It also was unusual to have 7 seals on a scroll, okay, because it was typically only have one lock or one seal. This is unusual things about it. The seals must have been on a roll in such a way that each one would open a new section of writing. I showed you there. And then in verse 2, I saw a strong angel proclaiming, a strong angel, because he had to be loud enough to proclaim to everyone in the universe. Yeah, that's why it says strong angel there. With a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? Who is worthy? Who is high enough rank or good enough? Well, obviously the one holding it can do it, right? The one on the throne can open it, but he's not doing it. He's waiting for someone to do it. So who is going to do it? So, obviously, we have God sitting on the throne with the scroll in his hand, okay? And now we're looking for someone to open it. Now, we're not going to get into the argument of here the difference between Jesus and God. I'm going to make some statements here, though. Okay? It says in John 5:22, the Father judgeth no man, but hath committed all judgment unto the Son. And all men should honor the Son the same way they honor the Father. Okay, that's interesting. They're being honored the same way. So we just got to understand that they're honored the same way, they're worshipped the same way. There's some things to learn about it. Jesus is God's human form. But why do you think the Son must judge the world? What are your thoughts on that? Why do you think this? Why is the Son? Why does it say this here? The Father doesn't judge anyone, but commits the judgment to the Son. Why do you think that? Let's open it up a little. What do you
He's
think?
the one that was rejected.
He was rejected, killed. Yeah, he was. So why is he the one that's going to do that? Why is he the worthy? It's a good thought. What's that?
He was on Earth.
Ooh, he's on Earth, which means what? He's like one of us. I'll give you that. The section of he's one of us. So when he steps up and he judges, it's not going to be. I wrote down here. It's not going to be a being. I put probably because he was tempted at all points and suffered the death of the cross and humbled himself. And it said, I put here, I guess the one who experienced manhood is more worthy to judge than a separate deity, like some, God the Father. Well, he doesn't know what it's like to be us. Christ does. So he can judge. That's why the Father commits the judgment. No man commits all judgment to the Son. So when Christ judges people who don't believe on him and casts them in the lake of fire, they're going to say, you don't know what it's like. And he's going to say, yes, I do, because I got tempted just like you. Isn't that weird? I got tempted just like you. And I resisted. And you could have resisted by my power. You could have listened to me, but you didn't. And so you understand, it's very important to understand that the Son just... So we say all that to bring it back here to verse 3. In Revelation 5, he has that book, that scroll with the 7 seals on it. No man, look at verse 3, no man in heaven or on earth, or under the earth was able to open the book, neither to look there. Okay? No man, in the Greek, it's the word oudios, which means no being, no heavenly being. And we'll learn that later on. It says the things in heaven, things in the earth, things under the earth. Talk about that. No heavenly being. No one on earth. Oh, it says it right there. Sorry. No man in heaven, nor on earth. I was like, wait, it says it right there. Heaven, earth is obviously us. Okay? And then under the earth is the dead. Even the dead don't know the future. Look at this warning from God in Isaiah 8:19. Look at this. And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, that's evil spirits, and unto wizards that peep and that mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to the dead? When it comes to this matter of who we seek for the future, who's people going to, soothsayers and going to psychics and that kind of stuff, shouldn't we look to God as the same? And only God can reveal future events. Look at this, Isaiah 41, verse 21 and 22. Look at, produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth and show unto us what shall happen, like in the future. Let them show the former things of the past, what they be, that we may consider them and know the latter end, things in the future of them, or declare us things for to come. Show us the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. You can't do it, can you? And so no one can do it except God. No one can tell the future. Make sense? Okay, and no one in heaven and earth was able to open the book, to look thereon. Now look at verse 3 there. It says, neither to look thereon. They couldn't even look at it. Okay, that just means open it. Obviously they could see that he saw on the backside it was written, but no one could take a good look at it. Hold it on the throne. And there's a commotion. Look at verse 4. There's a commotion. I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon. There was an emotional time with the Apostle John here. He started crying. Why was he crying? Because he couldn't open, and no one could open the seal. Now, many people cry for many reasons. But perhaps John here has got it right. Because the most sad thing in life is an uncertain future. Every day we live with the idea that at any moment we can tragically die. I don't understand why this isn't more important. Like, the whole world should have a meeting about this. We got to figure this out. So many people are sad at funerals. What happens after we die? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about religion. Okay, you have a little pride issue, but I still want to figure this out. And you know what? I'm kind of preaching my Sunday message now. I don't want just me to figure it out. I want everyone to figure it out. Because maybe we can all help each other. And these are hard things. These are serious issues, man. When someone goes to the funeral home, someone goes to the hospital and take their last breath, we're not talking about little things here. It's sad. John's crying. What does the future hold? He's crying. And for me, no doubt, the most sad I could ever feel in my life, this is true for me, would be if I don't know what God's book said. I pray for wisdom in the morning. If I don't know what God says, it's so sad. How can a book that tells us where we came from, what our purpose is in life, and what the future holds be boring? I mean, what else is there? Where we came from, what our purpose is, and what the future. How can that be boring? Who made it boring? There's some cool movies out there. Why would you come to church and hear some guy go like this? We got special effects. But you know what? It's vanity in the end. It's not really going to. It's fake. That's one vanity of it. It's not real. And it's not going to. It's not going to help you in the funeral. It's not going to help you when someone gives you news someone died. It's not going to help you when someone gives you the news you got 3 months to live. That stuff's not going to help you. I'm not against entertainment. But it's not replacing the answer to death, which we're going to read about gloriously here in this chapter. It's like a story of a champion. He comes in like a super champion. Watch this, and how he comes in, have you ever cried over something stupid? Usually men do that. Women don't do that, but usually men cry over something. Well, this cry is not over something stupid in this verse. It's not. He wept much because no one could look at it. John was crying. We can't look at these words from God. We can't look at it. And then in verse 5, I'm sorry, this is coming to my head. What a difference between that and when Jehoiakim burned the leaves of the scroll that was written from God in the fire. He burned them. John cried because he couldn't read them. What a difference there. Look at verse 5. One of the elders said unto me, don't cry, weep not. It's funny, the Old English, we say cry now. But cry in Old English meant talk loud. That means they cry. They say weep. Weep not. Behold, one of the elders says this, okay? Why does one of the elders say that? Remember why? Were the elders redeemed? Do they know what it's like to be redeemed? I remember from last week? Yes. It says right here. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, his dad's name is Jesse, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. And I'll say it later. He prevailed to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. In verse 5. What does he call him? He's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Look at Genesis 49, verse 9. This is Jacob giving his last talk before he dies. And he talks of Judah. He says Judah is a lion's whelp. He calls his son Judah a lion's whelp. It's almost like prophetic. He knew that. And so they started calling. So Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And then it says there, the root of David. See that in verse 5? The root of David. By the way, let me show you the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Why was it a Judah?
You know why? Because the firstborn was Reuben, and Reuben, I don't know what the word, it's not incest, but he sinned with his father's concubine. So he was cut off of the birthright. And Simeon and Levi are the ones that killed all those people when Dinah was taken by that guy. They cruelty. And if you read the prophecies, it says you cruelty, you're not going to be blessed. So the next one is Judah. That's the simplest reason. He was the fourth one. Okay, first time Jesus comes, he's the Lamb of God. Look at there's a Lamb of God. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. I mean, if I told you Jesus Christ is coming as a lamb, what is he, a forgiver? He's a sacrifice. If I tell you he's coming as a lion, he's going to bite people. He's going to attack. And that's I thought that was a good picture there just to show the. I know it's not clear, but it shows the different line on
It's
that.
like a painting.
Yeah, kind of like a paint.
Pictures.
I have some few other pictures there. I'll show you in a minute, but I think it's cool to have pictures sometimes. The root of David. This is Revelation's book of pictures. It says the root of David. Isaiah 11:1. There shall come forth a rod. This is Old Testament here, 700 BC. Come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Okay, the root of David, root of Jesse. Jesse was David's dad. Okay, and then in verse 6 there in Revelation. I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne. Okay, who's going to open the book? Who's going to open this scroll here with the 7 seals on it? Who's going to open that scroll? And he looked in the midst of the throne, and of the 4 beasts, in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb. It stood. But it looked like it was killed, as it had been slain. For some reason, there was blood on it, or it looked like something was cut. Having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. I got a picture of those two. If I want to get a picture of this one, yes, I do. Not the best picture. I got another one beside it. I got 2 other pictures beside this one. In the middle of the throne, the blood coming out of the lamb. I mean, it's just a symbol. If you look at that and you see, and you think, who's this powerful one that's going to open this book? The scroll, no one in heaven and earth, the strong angel couldn't do it. It's the Lamb. That's powerful. What's that telling us? It's that there's power in the humility of it all. There's something so powerful about a being who has so much power, but willingly gives it up for the people who are lesser. You know, I mean, and kind of a little illustration would be like a big strong guy, like helping a little kid, but way more strong than the big strong guy. And the sacrifice, he's got the 7 eyes there, he's got the horns. We'll talk about what that means in a minute. Show you a few more pictures. There's the 7 eyes and 7 horns. The slain moon. Okay, that's just the lamb itself. And then it could mean in this passage a symbolism, which John is describing, something like this. Okay? And so these are the 4 beasts around, the one with the face of the lion, the face of the man, the eagle, and the ox. Remember that? We talked about 4 beasts in Revelation 4. Stood a lamb in the middle. But really the Lamb of God, Jesus. He had the star in his hand. And just get you to think, in the middle of the throne, what's going on there? Oh, there's a good picture there if it was actually a person who was describing like a lamb. Remember, what did John the Baptist say in John chapter 1? He said, behold the Lamb of God. And there's a lamb, he's a human. Maybe kind of looked at him like that.
What, if you read all of this, what implication does that have for us if you read this as a different? What do we take from all this?
I'm gonna come to a pretty pointed application, other than the fact that there's awe in it.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm just not sure
The application is he humbled himself, and he's exalted. Philippians 2. We should humble ourselves, and God will lift us up. There's a ton of really deep application. Like I just said, that's powerful. Here's what I was thinking when I was saying that. When I saw that lamb in the middle of the throne, I was thinking, how could someone so strong make himself so weak? And then I started thinking, in my life, do I have to prove all the time I'm strong? Do I have to prove all the time I'm the best at this? When someone right next to me stinks at something I'm good at, and they're bragging, do I have to always say, well, I'm better? Do I have to do that? Stuff like that. Stuff like that. It's crazy. He said, I am he, and they all fell down. And then they crucified him. I'm not doing it justice. That whole thought is sometimes you just like seal on the song's problem. And we humans start to apply it. He really did lower himself there. It was touching. He stood, it says there, in the midst of the throne of 4 beasts, a lamb stood. So he was alive because he was standing, but he looked like he had a mortal wound. Perhaps like in John 20, verse 27, Jesus had mortal wounds after he rose from the dead. What did he say? Jesus said to Thomas, reach into that finger and behold my hands, and reach into that hand and thrust it into my side. And he's alive when he says it. And be not faithless but believing. Another application, I thought, is he looks injured for eternity for us. Not direct application. So while we're sitting pretty in our mansion in heaven, and we don't have holes in our hands, he probably will have that scar for eternity. I'm not positive about that doctrine. I studied it out. I think I mentioned it in my message, but
That was my question. Does he have a scar for, forever and ever?
I can't think off the top of my head, but I remember coming to that conclusion after reading several things that it may be the case. And so, I don't like having scars. I mean, a big hole. It's something. It's huge. It's huge to think about.
Didn't it say when he comes back during the tribulation that his robe is going to be covered in blood?
Yes.
So, isn't that, is this symbolic or is that?
The blood?
Yeah, well, if he
Or the
comes
robe.
back, his robe is going to be stained with blood.
Yeah, that's from the Lord. That's when he comes. That's what later on.
Oh, that has something to do with it.
Yeah, he comes back and fights, and he's stained with blood.
Oh, I thought that was
You're saying the vesture dipped in blood?
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I forgot what it means.
Okay.
Yeah, the vesture dipped. I forgot the context of that moment. But there is one where he comes and fights, and he's stained with blood because he's fighting. And there's prophecies in Isaiah about that too, in the Old Testament, where he's dyed garments of Basra. I think it's Isaiah, where he comes through the land of Edom and he comes back. It's a great study. He comes through the land of Edom and he's killing on the way into Israel. And he's pretty strong to be a lamb.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say here. When you see someone who's older that was tough, like, I don't know, Hulk Hogan or some great boxer, he was so strong in his day. And it just kind of makes you cringe. Like, he used to be so strong. Well, he is so strong and he made himself like a lamb. I don't know, there's something about the lamb, too, when I see the face of the lamb, like it's innocent. Innocent. He's innocent. Doesn't know what's going on. You go kill it. Something about you can talk about a lamb for a while. And it speaks to him. Look at that lamb's face. Doesn't know what's going on. It doesn't talk back. Like it says in Isaiah 52, he's a lamb. It's like a lamb. Dumb. Dumb means you don't talk. Dumb before his shear. Doesn't open his mouth. And then, verse 6, this is definitely humbling. How the throne over here. Verse 6, and for beast and the elder. Okay, the elder, in the midst of the elders, the elder calls him the lion, yet while John looks on him, he looks like an innocent dead lamb. I thought that was interesting. Look what he calls him. Right? It's called, he's a lamb. In verse 6. Hang on, I have myself here. I wrote that. Anyway, here's another application. We must conclude that from this that the kingdom of God, truly the lowest, the most humble, are the greatest and most powerful. Blessed are the meek, right? For they shall inherit the earth. What's the kingdom of God like according to Matthew 18:1? The same came to Jesus, or same time came the disciples. Jesus saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" What's the future of heaven going to be like, Roger? What's it going to be like, Kristen? Think about it. Jesus called a little child in him and set him in the midst. Okay, the lamb, the child, and said, "Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this child, which are the same as greatest in the kingdom of heaven." I try to think about kids. What do kids have? They don't have that nasty pride, and they don't hold grudges for a long time. Why do we adults hold grudges for 10 years? You know that's wrong. Myself included. Kids don't do that. I know my kids will hold grudges for about an hour. That's about it. It's over. Oh, we're friends again. Be like the child. We gotta be like the child. We gotta be like the child, okay? And so we're making applications. We're kind of calling for the applications. I'm giving the John R. Rice application. I used to criticize the applications in college because they weren't scholarly. But you don't want to just be preset all the time. You want to learn, obviously, some knowledge and then apply it. But, that's what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like, is what we're trying to say. That's what it's going to be like. And here we are in space. Welcome to the frontier.
Final frontier.
The final frontier. The frontier, I don't even know that subject. Anyway, look at this verse. Matthew 20, verse 25 and 26. Jesus called unto them and said, "You know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and gave his life a ransom for many. So the way the kingdom of heaven works is different than the way it works here. This life, we step on each other's toes to get higher. It's not like that in the kingdom of heaven. It's different. The lamb is the high. All those strong beasts around, and then you got this weak lamb who's dying, and he's the strong. It's such a symbol. Huge. And then we talk about the 7 horns there in verse 6. The 7 horns represent power. Horns represent power. I didn't bring the verses up. I don't want to bore you, but in Daniel, there's the horn that comes across the east, or Alexander the Great's the horn, and Antiochus Epiphanes, that's 4 kingdoms. There's a horn, and then there's a prophecy where a guy puts a horn on, and he in front of Micaiah, and he's a false prophet, but he says with the horn, it represents power. He's got power. Why 7? All I can get out of that is it's a number of completion. He represents complete power. 7 is complete. 7 days in the first weeks. So you see the law in Revelation. So we have complete power. 7 eyes there, complete sight of everything. Okay, 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God. Ooh, that's a tough one. The spirits can travel fast and do service for God. So these 7 spirits are like eyes that see everything for God. We talked about the 7 flames, which are the 7 spirits of God. No, the 7 eyes are the 7 spirits of God. Again, I think it's complete vision of the world and complete access to the world. He's got all that as a lamb. He's got these 7 hearts, 7 eyes. So the symbolism is everything here. Great symbolism. And then in verse 7, he came and took the book out of the right hand. That lamb took the book out of the right hand. This is why it may be a symbolic lamb. Because how could a lamb, unless he bit it in his mouth? Probably could be that hand when I showed you at the end. He took it. He's the lamb that was slain. He's got the wounds, like Jesus had the wounds. He takes that book, that scroll, and I do want to say that, I don't know, let me see what that. He took the throne. Now, why is he, we talked about why he's worthy to be the one. He is the mediator, okay? He came and took the book. You get the picture here? He's the one that can go to God and take the words and bring them to us. Christ is the only go-between. A mediator means a go-between. Christ is the only person that's God, but also one of us. And he is able to make the connection between us and God the Father. Okay, that's why he can go to his throne. And then in verse 8, when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps. Only he can do it, so this is a big deal. Oh, he just took that book. Let's all fall down and worship. And every one of them harps. Harps are often used to make songs of praise and thanksgiving in the Bible. So they're going to start playing the songs of thanksgiving. The golden vials, look what it says there. Harps and golden vials full of odors. Vials are just containers full of odors like perfumes, which are the prayers of saints. Kind of weird, isn't it? So there's some symbolism here, obviously, lots of symbolism. The idea is that everyone is praising God, even the humans on earth are giving praise right now. They're praying, and those prayers are going up, and they're being opened, and they go, guess where these people's prayers go? They go straight before the throne of God. And they're like sweet-smelling odors to God. You think it's important to pray? Our prayers bypass all the security in heaven. The 7 eyes that are looking around, those 4 beasts. They bypass all the 24 elders. They bypass all the cherubims that are around with the wings in front of it. They go straight to the throne, right in front of God. They go right to him like an odor. Think about that next time you close in prayer, next time you say prayer. Where's that prayer going? It's going bypassing all the White House security, going straight to the president. I mean, it's going straight to the way higher than the president. That's exactly where it goes when you pray. Like the incense, it's kind of like the burning incense. People used to burn incense. Like Psalm 141, verse 2, let my prayer be set forth before thee as incense, and the lifting up of hands as the evening sacrifice. Apparently he prayed by lifting up his hands, and then light off incense. The smoke, which way does it go? up, and you can picture it going up to God. So when you pray, it goes up. It doesn't go with you. And you don't sit, you go in your room and you pray. It's not staying there with you. It's going out of the house. It's going through those walls. It's going up to the sky to God, and that's the image there. And then in verse 9 there, they sung a new song. After they sang these prayers, they sang a new song saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain. This is why this lamb could open the book, because he was slain. This was what made it possible, and has redeemed us to God. There it is. The elders have been redeemed by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Now, could the Bible be any more clear that it's for everyone? Okay? Christianity is not a Western religion. You hear something like Christianity is a Western religion, or Christianity is a European religion. You know, it's funny. Christianity started in the Middle East. It didn't start in Europe or in America. It started, what's that? It's in the Middle East. It started in the Orient. The people that came to see Jesus were wise men that came from perhaps a place like by China. And it's just a stupid lie when people say that. It's not a European religion. It's just ignorant. That's not what it is. It's for every kindred, tongue, people, and nation. There's a lot of talk today about respecting other religions. Okay, although we respect people's personalities, I'm big on that. God gave people personalities. We can't force our personality on someone else. I respect cultures, okay? As long as you think Italian food's the best, I respect culture. Now, you know what? That's not right. Maybe it's not the best. I don't know. We can Polish food. We can only acknowledge one God. We can respect people's cultures, people's religions, but we cannot respect people's religions if it's not the true religion. We can't do it. So when it comes to this respect thing, it depends what you're talking about. Christians are disrespectful. We don't walk around saying, I don't respect. No. But we cannot honor other gods. It's for every, read it up there, every kindred and tongue. It's the only religion. It's the only one. People seem to lump personality, culture, and religion all together. I hate that. It's popular today not to think that certain groups of people are responsible for their religion. They were born into it. Oh, the people in India, they're all Hindu. Oh, the people in the Middle East are all Muslim. I mean, we're terrible at it. Did you guys realize that the people that are from the Middle East, most of them in Sterling Heights, are not Muslim? They're Christian Catholic. They're not Muslim. They're Chaldean. They're not Muslim. I drive on the bus. They're so happy to get away from that Muslim movement. That's why they came to Sterling Heights. I mean, we just love them. Yeah, oh, they got like a big black beard. It must be, what's her name, Muhammad? No. they're Christians. They're like, they believe the way I mean, they believe in Jesus. It's crazy. It's for every nation. It's not just one. It's funny. You just go on about that. I don't want to keep talking about that. It has redeemed us to God. That's 24 elders. By thy blood. And then verse 10 has made us unto God, our God, kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. So the picture is here, we were lost and hopeless because we needed a Redeemer. The Redeemer had to have been God to forgive sins and man at the same time. And this is what this whole scene is a picture of. Now Jesus turned the tables. Okay, what are we going to do? We need a Redeemer. No one can open the book. Jesus steps in the scene. He brought us hope again, and he made us righteous, and now we are able to rule on earth as Adam was once supposed to, but failed. It's like all of mankind saying, we know that our life should be better, we should be rulers, we should be exalted, but we can't do it. We need a human who was perfect to guide us, and here he is. Daniel 7, verse 27, the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of his kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. Did you read that? Because of the Lamb that was slain, who becomes king, Now he gives us kingship. What Adam was supposed to. Who would he be king over? Who would Adam be king over? How about that one, huh? King over the cows and bears and the snake. Yeah, the snake. The devil. Be king over the lion. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of universe out there. There's a lot to be ruling over. I don't know why people think.
If there's degrees of punishment in hell, there should be degrees of no.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Didn't he say, I'll give you 10 cities if you're faithful with 10?
Yeah, and then 5. Crowns. 1 Corinthians 3, you be saved so as by fire, and some people have reward, but loss or reward. Yes, okay, and then if you don't mind here, let me see here. Yeah, there's not much here left. Read these last 2 verses here. No, we're on the wrong chapter, not 2 more verses. 4 verses. Beheld the voice of many angels round about the throne, the beasts, the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands. The huge multitude does something good here, but do huge multitudes always do what's right? Do we gotta follow what people say all the time? No. Look at Exodus 23:2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Sometimes a huge group or a group of people does the wrong thing. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's right. Okay? The followers, we are followers of who? God, Christ. Not people. You didn't come here to follow people. You know, a lot of people do that. They follow people. We came to follow brainwashing. We came to follow God. People they'll disappoint you. And then what else does it say there? But here in verse 11, it is time to follow the crowd. Okay, the multitude is going to be praising God. This is in heaven, of course. It is time to follow the crowd. Not on this cursed earth. Now, in that scene, you can follow the crowd. Go ahead. We ought not follow the opinions of people when it comes to church. Remember 2 Peter 2:2? They're false prophets. In verse 1 and then verse 2, many shall follow their pernicious ways. Man, there are assemblies right now that are full. I mean, full of people and money and buildings and rooms and classes, and many shall follow their pernicious ways. And just, that exists. Just know that exists.
Don't keep for themselves teachers.
Having itching ears, yeah. And shall turn to lies the favors. Yeah, that it exists. So we acknowledge that exists, okay? But in heaven, it's not going to be like that. But then, Daniel chapter 7, verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth before him. Thousands minister unto him. Man, wouldn't it be great in heaven you could just follow the crowd? Just follow the crowd. What's everyone doing? Let's go do it. You don't have to be like, oh, maybe they're doing something wrong. No. They're always doing what's right. The crowd's always doing what's right in heaven. They're always doing what's right. Just follow the crowd. And then in Deuteronomy 33:2, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir. To them he had shined forth at Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand went a fiery law for them, 10,000 of saints. And then, at last, end right here, loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power because he was slain. Remember, his first humility with the exaltation. That's how it works in God's order. He received power, which is authority. Many people desire power and authority, but are unwilling to be humbled. In God's kingdom, you don't get power and authority unless you're willing to lower yourself and be humble. I'm telling you, we've got to go through times of humility. You can't just start on top. Riches, wisdom, strength, honor, glory, blessing, these things are all given to him, and that's why it says to receive. To receive. You hear that? To receive. God is the one who is able to give us these things regardless of what people think. We cannot get these things on our own. We have to receive honor, glory, power. Be unto him that sitteth on the throne. And we'll end with this. I want everyone to listen to this. I know that this is kind of not the favorite of people. ridiculous. Can you guys hear that?
Do I try it on my phone?
God, my God. Okay. Let me see. And right here. Oh, I'm really disappointed. I wanted to blast that.
Maybe this is too close.
Maybe it's too close to the. It's like bouncing off. There you go.
I don't do the whole thing. That's why I hate the beginning. It gets too operatic.
Just double click it. Double click the box.
Worthy is the land that was slain. Listen. Listen. Just think about it. Are you feeling it? Maybe you're not feeling it.
Receive.
Who receives it? Yeah. That's interesting. Who receives it? Who says? Priest of Christ.
This is Jesus Christ.
To God again. It's to God. That's awesome. Anyway, that's enough of that. All my weird ideas. All right. I want you to think about that. Okay. So I guess we can pray. Maybe close it out today. Thanks for coming. Remember the. Yeah, pray for the baby Jelani to get better. Some people are sick and stuff like that. All right, you're good, isn't it? All right, go ahead. Let's pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, I pray, God, that you would, thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you for this Bible study. Thank you, God, for being with us, Lord, that you are in the midst of us right now. You're not distant. You're with us right now, and we are in your house worshiping you. I pray, God, that you would be with each one of us who made the trip out here. God, there are many people who are sick, or many people who have illnesses, or they have things that they're struggling with. I'm sure there's many unspoken, Lord. And, I have things in my life that I take to you, God, and I know that sometimes we think we got to go to some. People go to the world goes to therapists, and they go to psychiatrists, and they go to all these different people, God. And as your children, we should be coming to you, Lord, with our problems, because you're the great physician. You're the one that can help us. You're the one who gives us the power and the victory. So God, I pray if you have any kind of need, that we will bring it to you, Lord. I pray that we don't just come to you when we have a need or a struggle. We come to you, God, when we're just to praise you, just because we love you, and just to give you glory. So God, I pray you be with us the rest of this night, and for all these things in Jesus' name.
The only reason I went a little long today is because the kids are at school.
You have no.
They probably do at school.
Oh, really? But we don't have school buses, so.
But you don't have kids.
No? It's not safe for the children.
Usually when all one closes, they all close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I say it builds character. It'll be fine.
I'm saying.
We never close, so this is like, I can't even.